Why? They were happy so much in the books. Every other couple was happy at some point. Why weren't they happy? I had enough. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I don't want any more. And I know that might be a controversial take, especially when I liked her, and I'm sure you guys did too. I loved season 1 and 2 of Bridgerton. I loved Queen Charlotte, and maybe even more so than those, I adored the entire Bridgerton book series. I was so excited for season 3 part 1, only to be disappointed with the lack of screen time from the main leads, bombarded with side stories I couldn't care less about, and starting to hate characters that I had once adored. If you don't know who I am, my name is Julie Q. I'm a variety streamer over on Twitch who has a lot of opinions about a lot of different subjects, and today I wanted to discuss Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2, and whoo boy is it a doozy. I already discussed Season 3 Part 1, so if you haven't checked out that video already, future Julie will edit a link to it somewhere on the screen for you. In that video, I compared part 1 to the book series as well as to the previous seasons of Bridgerton that we have seen thus far. So today, I want to focus more on this season as a standalone and what made it so unlikable. Someone needs to tell me why, by the end of season 3, I still didn't feel like Colin and Penelope were a good fit, or that they made sense, or that the buildup was there. Because they fought for so much of their season. They were unhappy with each other for so much of the season. And to be fair, it was more Colin being upset at Penelope because she's Lady Whistledown, which, okay, I understand that there's going to be some tension there, given what she's written about the family. But at the same flip of the coin, he didn't support her being Lady Whistledown at all whatsoever. Rather, he kept telling her this entire season, you shouldn't be that, you shouldn't be that, even though she is her. Like, so much of their season, they were just fighting each other, and I feel like we only got maybe a total of 1 good episode where they were happy, and you had to splice those together until you got one happy episode, because we didn't even get one episode, I don't think at least, one episode where they were actually happy with one another. Why? They were happy so much in the books. Every other couple was happy at some point. Why weren't they happy? He did not empathize with Penelope at all. He didn't empathize or try to understand her position at all. Whereas she just keeps saying, but I love you, Colin, but I love you, Colin. No, you shouldn't love him because he's being trash. He's literally being garbage right now. Like, how do you not see that he's forcing you to stop being who you are? He wants you to settle for him. Why are we settling in Bridgerton? This is my romantic fantasy. Why are we settling in Bridgerton? Why is season 3 Penelope settling for Colin until at least the end? But it feels like the whole time she's just settling because he doesn't understand her, and he's not trying to understand her. He's not trying to empathize with her. He's just being a rake, a absolute rake. And why did we get so much screen time for Francesca and John? It felt more like their season just as much as it was Colin and Penelope's season. Like, I do really love those two characters, and I'm gonna be devastated when John passes. But as much as I love those characters, it was not their season. We did not need that much screen time from them when we got so little screen time of the people whose seasons it was. I like Francesca and John. I like Francesca a lot. I actually resonated a lot with Francesca as a character. I know people have related her with autism, and I think that that's probably why I related to her. But I like her. I really enjoy her character. I like where she was headed. I like what they gave us with her. But she wasn't the main character. Why did she have, like, as much screen time as Colin and Penelope? I don't understand. And the fact that the PR kept saying this was going to be the spiciest season so far was so far from the truth. Sure, there were a lot of spicy scenes, but basically none of them were Colin together. So many of them were Colin being a spicy boy, and so many of them were Benedict and the widow, or Benedict and the widow and that other guy. Okay, I had enough. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I don't want any more of Benedict just doing his thing. He's a free-spirited person. Awesome. Have him do more art. Where'd the art go? Why is he just there for spicy scenes? Why is he just there for filler spicy scenes? I want him to go live his life doing art, being a free spirit, being an individual. And yes, he's doing that to some degree with the widow and the guy. I get it. But not enough, because he should be more than just the person that gets spicy. He's the next main lead. Give him some depth. And like, the side stories were not even fun to watch. I hated seeing Benedict and the widow. The Mondriches, I couldn't have cared less about them. Like, cool, they threw a party. Awesome. I don't care. Stop showing them to me. I really had hopes that we were going to have them be the reason that we are introduced to Benedict's future love interest. But nope, it was just another pointless side story. And some of the side stories I didn't mind. Like, I really enjoyed Violet and that side story that was happening. I enjoyed that. She deserves love. She deserves a second chance at love. And I enjoyed that. But there were other side stories that they just felt pointless. They felt pointless. They felt like they were just taking away from the main characters. And Philippa and Prudence's side of the story, at least it made sense with Penelope and Colin's main story, because we get to know more about why Penelope feels isolated from her family. Same thing with Portia being involved in it all. We can see the connections between her family life, her as a character. There's unspoken and spoken similarities, differences that make Penelope who she is today. I got that. I understood that. That was fine. I also thought they were funny, so that was cool. Awesome. Wonderful. But did we need so much of it? No. This season also made me hate some of the characters because, okay, listen, Cressida, I thought she was going to get a redemption arc. She didn't get one in the book, but I thought in this series, surely based on the way that they're making us empathize with her, that we're going to get a redemption arc. She's going to be a beautiful, wonderful person, have a beautiful, wonderful, happily ever after at the end. Nope, I was wrong. She started out nasty, then we became empathetic to her as the audience. We said, oh, her home life is so bad, it's relatable to Penelope's. Like, okay, cool. But then she got nasty again. And why did I waste my time empathizing with her if she was just gonna be nasty in the end? Because you could have just cut that out. You could have just cut the empathizing out. I didn't need to care about her. You could have just villainized her the entire time. It was just unnecessary. It was a waste of precious screen time that could have been going to Pollen. This season made me not like Eloise at all whatsoever. And I know that might be a controversial take, especially when I liked her, and I'm sure you guys did too, during season 1 and 2. Loved her. Awesome. Great. Wonderful. But she had me feeling very similar to the way I felt to Kate's sister in season 2, that it's like, why don't you understand that this other person is trying to protect you and still loves you and still cares about you? A lot of the time, Eloise was playing this role of a middle woman. And ironically enough, she says in one of the episodes, I don't want to be said middle woman. But that's what she is doing. She's creating tension between Colin and Penelope for no reason. It was an unnecessary thing. It would have been better almost if she would have sided with Penelope and still Colin would have been upset. And on the topic of Eloise, I was really rooting for her to be the change of character love interest, for her love interest to be a girl. I was rooting for it. I was excited for it. It made sense. Just like Benedict with another guy, totally made sense. I understand it. But then they did it to Francesca with Michaela versus Michael, and I don't know how I feel about it just yet. First of all, Francesca staring at Michaela in like very deep interest goes wholeheartedly against book Francesca and how Francesca would have felt meeting Michael for the first time. So already off to not a great start. So with that in mind, I'm a little confused how it's going to work out between them come the time that we see their season, which honestly probably isn't going to be until like 10 years from now, given that they said next season isn't going to be for 2 years from now, for a total of 8 episodes. What? I know that's off the topic of the actual show itself to a degree, but why? Why is it going to take 2 years for 8 episodes? Someone needs to explain this to me, because that makes zero sense. Remember when shows used to be giving us 24 episode seasons? Where is that? Why has that gone away? And I understand a lot of things have to go into a show. I should say I understand that I know I don't understand what has to go into a show, but that feels played out longer than necessary by a lot. I feel that that's Netflix milking in our excitement over the show. However, they really screwed it up by making this season terrible and then also telling us that we're going to have to wait 2 years for the next season. So we'll see what happens in 2 years from now, I guess. Now, I bet you're wondering what I actually enjoyed about this season. Yes, what could it have been? Did I enjoy the romance? Did I enjoy the setting? Did I enjoy, I don't know, the dialogue? Maybe the acting? Well, I don't think I enjoyed that much from this season. I'm going to be honest with you, especially part 2, because I was not happy with the way part 1 ended, and I had high expectations. I'm going to be honest. I had high expectations going into part 2 that we were going to fix the issues that I saw in part 1, but I was sorely mistaken that was going to be the case, because it definitely did not happen. Like, it was to the point that I had watched the first 3 episodes pretty much in succession, and then I just didn't watch the last episode of part 2 until, I don't know, a week later. That's crazy. I was out here calling out of work for season 3 part 1 because I was so excited about it, because season 1 and 2 are so good and the book series is so good. And then season 3 part 2, I couldn't even finish the show. And that, dearest gentle watchers, concludes my yap session rant about season 3 part 2 of Bridgerton. I was left unimpressed and disappointed, as I'm sure many of you were. I'd love to hear any and all opinions that you have about this season or past seasons or even the book series, whether you agree or disagree with what I had to say today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or suggest some other shows or books that you think I might enjoy and that you might want to hear me rant about. I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their day, a fantastic rest of their night, and until next time, bye-bye!